What we're really looking for is those inspiring entrepreneurs who have a big head of steam and that are ready to go to scale.
And he isn't talking about scaling back. Tonight, an Indigenous investment fund opens for business.
We've had 329 new confirmed COVID-19 cases that have been identified as variants of concern.
But the new strains of the COVID-19 virus are adding new stress to this Vancouver entrepreneur's business.
For all intents and purposes, they've been destroyed by this workplace.
And there's talk of outing a big problem hiding within the ranks of one of Canada's largest bureaucracies. Good evening. Welcome to APTN National News. I'm Melissa Ridgen. Well, tragedy off the coast of Cape Breton, Nova Scotia on Saturday. A fishing boat from the Elsipogtog First Nation capsized on the first day of the crab commercial fishing season. One crew member is dead. The captain is missing and presumed dead. The Tiehawk fishing vessel left the coast of Shetty Camp early on Saturday. What went wrong is still being determined, but 4 crew members were rescued from the waters, while crew member Seth Monaghan of Elsipogtog died, and the ship's captain, Craig Sock, known as Jumbo, is missing and presumed dead. He was an Elsipogtog band councillor and hockey dad. According to the Elsipogtog councillor Ruth Levy, who we spoke with, she said that he was the leader for Elsipogtog's Hockeyville entry.
So, as devastating as it is right now, we do have, a little light that we continue on and try to win Craft Hockeyville in memory of our Jumbo.
With COVID-19 cases going up in many parts of the country, tighter restrictions to stop further transmission is being imposed in Quebec, Ontario, and British Columbia. APTN's Tina House was this story from Vancouver of one business owner who doesn't know if she can survive this.
Our goal throughout the pandemic has been to find here in BC our balance. We want to protect those who are most vulnerable and keep as much as is safe to be open in our communities.
Chief Medical Health Officer Dr. Bonnie Henry says that BC has seen the highest one-day totals since the pandemic began. Calling it a circuit breaker, she announced new measures until at least April 19th.
Indoor dining at all food and liquor serving premises is paused. These locations may remain open for full meal service on patios or for takeout or delivery only. Additionally, indoor adult group fitness activities of any kind at gyms, fitness centers, or studios are also paused. Activities in these locations are restricted to individual or one-on-one activities only.
She also banned all indoor faith services despite discussions to open. Dr. Henry says these health orders are necessary to break the chain of transmission of the third wave.
We've had 329 new confirmed COVID-19 cases that have been identified as variants of concern.
Over at Salmon and Bannock, Vancouver's only Indigenous bistro, food is being served on the small patio, which seats 4 people. Owner-operator Inez Cook says these new restrictions are going to be tough on her business.
We had a fairly busy weekend and we ordered like $2,000 worth of groceries to be delivered. And then all of a sudden we hear at midnight, no more dine-in. You know, it's heartbreaking.
Cook was a full-time flight attendant who flew internationally, but due to COVID-19, she got laid off in early March. And now this new health order is adding to her worries. She says that since the beginning of the pandemic, they have had to switch gears to cater to customers ordering on Uber Eats and refuses to let the new restrictions affect her business.
So we're getting more and more creative every day and rolling with the punches and you know, I talked to the team and I said, I'm not going to cut any hours right now. Let's just work on new ideas, let's get new customers, and let's just get stronger.
Tina House, APTN National News, Vancouver.
Incredible looking food there. Well, 3 tribal councils in Saskatchewan will be giving COVID-19 vaccines to urban First Nations and anyone else who wants to receive a dose. APTN's Priscilla Wolf has that story.
Anyone can get vaccinated at the 3 immunization urban clinics, which are opening this month. But these clinics, like this one in Prince Albert, also provide translators.
We have translators for Dene and Cree, as well as a number of other cultural groups. And we just wanted to be able to have services available in the languages that people feel comfortable in.
The clinics are funded by the Saskatchewan and federal governments. Prince Albert Grand Council Grand Chief Brian Hardlott says they are the result of a partnership.
With the partnership, you know, the tribal chief from the Saskatoon Tribal Council, and also a tribal rep from North Battleford. You know, it's a 3-way partnership, and it's a good partnership, and we needed to come together to convince the government that you know, we need a little bit of funding.
There's still a lot of uncertainty for many people about getting a vaccine. So organizers felt it was important for elders to feel comfortable in an Indigenous environment.
We also do have smudging for those who want it. Again, we just want people to feel comfortable getting their immunization and in a way that that is unique for them or works for them.
The Prince Albert Grand Council is offering many ways for people to book a vaccine.
You can book online with the Saskatchewan Health Authority, or you can call their number. But what we also have is our number here at our main office, in which people can call if they're having any difficulty booking in, because sometimes the system, people aren't comfortable with using the book-in system, or maybe they need translation.
The Prince Albert Vaccination Clinic opened in early April. The Saskatoon Vaccination Clinic will be opening Tuesday, April 6th, and they expect to be busy.
What we're expecting for tomorrow is excitement from people to actually get the vaccination so we can start living a normal life again.
The North Battleford Clinic will be open April 12th. Priscilla Wolf, APTN National News, Saskatoon.
Canada's vaccination effort is getting another boost this week, with nearly 2.2 million more shots expected to be delivered. This includes the first batch of 316,000 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine arriving from the COVAX facility. Canada will also receive just over 1 million doses of the Pfizer vaccine, plus an additional 855,000 doses from Moderna. These shipments will keep Canada on track to receive a total of 44 million doses of the 3 vaccines by Canada Day. Well, we want to hear what you think about the vaccine rollout in your neck of the woods, or how do you feel after receiving yours? You can share all of that with us. You can send your emails to news@aptn.ca. You can leave a comment on aptnnews.ca. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and now TikTok. And you can also follow APTN News and join our conversation and see our latest stories. We need to take a quick break, but when we come back, dysfunction in one of the biggest bureaucracies in Canada.
Some people have been terribly affected by their workplace here, so they need help.
Welcome back. Well, this past year saw reckonings with systemic racism in nearly every public institution. Now, Indigenous employees of the federal government are speaking out and saying, what about us? Reporter Brett Forrester spoke to several current and former staff at Indigenous Services and Crown Indigenous Relations. Here's what they had to say about their struggle against racism at those 2 departments.
Elder Max Solis smudges and blesses the Kumik Lodge. It's a sacred healing space in one of the country's most colonial places.
Some people have been terribly affected by their workplace here, so they need help.
The headquarters of the Departments of Crown Indigenous Relations and Indigenous Services. The faded red bricks tower over Chaudière Falls just west of Parliament Hill. Surrounded by medicine, the elder explains how profoundly working here impacts some Indigenous employees.
And I've seen several people completely broken down. And the term we use in the Indigenous world is holistically. Their spirit has been killed. Their emotion has been killed. Their mental has been killed. The only thing they haven't done is a physical killing. But for all intents and purposes, they've been destroyed by this workplace.
The streets outside are quiet, but inside the discontent grows louder. APTN News spoke with numerous employees who work within these walls. We agreed not to reveal their identities because they fear reprisals. One woman told us her manager once told her to leave her Indian status at the door when entering this building. Another woman said working here was the worst experience of her life, resulting in a complete mental breakdown. Letitia Wells, a university student and former government employee, says her experience was terrible.
My workplace was so poisonous. It was so poisonous that some of us talk about suicide in that office, where maybe one of us should sacrifice our lives to be heard internally.
She says she was allegedly grabbed by a colleague, which triggered her trauma as a survivor of domestic violence. Now she advocates for those too scared to speak out.
Things need to change. You're running a lawless government that's harming us. We feel devalued, we feel abused, and we feel unsafe. There are no outlets for us. There are no promotions for us. When we do get promoted, we're set up for failure.
In a joint email sent to all staff and obtained by APTN, the department heads admit they have a problem. They wrote, quote, "We know that there remains a tremendous amount of work to do to eliminate discrimination and systemic racism in our departments and throughout the public service. We take all allegations of workplace discrimination very seriously, and we need your help to eliminate them once and for all." We sat down with the top bureaucrats to talk about the turmoil. Crown Indigenous Relations Deputy Minister Daniel Kwan Watson argued acknowledging the problem is a big step.
And the four of us stood before several thousand employees and said, this is real. We have no difficulties believing these claims. And I think for that to happen for the first time ever is not tepid. I will agree with people that simply doing that is not a solution. That doesn't end things. But you cannot solve a problem that you don't admit exists. And the four of us...
Indigenous Services Associate Deputy Minister Valerie Gideon, who is Mi'kmaq, says it's a tragedy they are committed to stopping.
Systemic racism is not acceptable, no matter where you are employed or where you live across Canada. And I think it is absolutely a priority for us as a department to not just eliminate it, but also to prevent it.
But the response didn't sit well with Solace.
And I think that in the Deputy Minister's response, you see the acknowledgement of harm. There is no acknowledgement of fear and hurt.
He sent the deputies an email in response warning them, quote, "The worst thing that could happen is that you speak empty words." He and others will be watching closely for action and, when needed, seeking refuge in the lodge. Brett Forster, APTN National News, Ottawa.
We will, of course, stay on top of that story as it unfolds. Well, it's time for us to take another break, but when we come back, 25 million reasons to smile as the world's first Indigenous Impact Fund doles out cash eager entrepreneurs.
What we're really looking for is those inspiring entrepreneurs who have a big head of steam and that are ready to go to scale.
Welcome back. It's time now for our photo of the day. Rebecca Cook sent us this photo of her and her family all dressed up for Easter. Here's hoping that you and yours all enjoyed the long weekend as well, and Easter, if that is what you celebrate. If you want the chance to be our feature photo of the day, you can email us your photos to share at aptn.ca. Include the who, the what, the when, the where the picture was taken, and tune in Monday to Friday to see if yours is featured as our photo of the day. Let's take a look now at tomorrow's weather forecast. Off to the east coast, we got 14 and some cloud for Charlottetown, 11, and some showers expected for Halifax. Kuujjuaq, 1 with some snow expected, sunshine, and -1 for Inukjuak. Val-d'Or, sunshine and 2 degrees. Chibougamau, -6, and some flurries expected there. Sunshine and 13 for Ottawa, 19, and some cloud for London. Sioux Lookout, sunny and 8 degrees. Kapuskasing, 4, and some showers expected there. 10 and showers for the Pas, 6 and sunshine for Thompson. Lots of sun in southern Manitoba, 10s for Barons River and Princess Harbour, 14 for Winnipeg. Sunny in southern Saskatchewan, 15s for Saskatoon, Regina, and Yorkton. And Swift Current, 2. 10 and sunshine for La Ronge, 2 and some snow for Uranium City. Fort Chip, snow and 1 degree, sunshine, well, a mix of sun and cloud actually in Grand Prairie, 7 degrees there. 15 and sunny for Lethbridge, Medicine Hat, 16 sunshine. 16 and sunny for Kamloops, Victoria, 12 and sunshine. Smithers, snow and 6 degrees, same with Prince George. -8 in Beaver Creek with snow expected there, -17 and sunshine for Rock River. -13 and sunny in Norman Wells and Waukegan, -8 and snow for Fort Simpson. In Nuvik, -17, mostly sunny skies. Paulituck, -18 and sunny. Baker Lake, -10 and snow. Whale Cove, -4 and snow. Tallyoak, -14, sunshine there. Joe Haven, -16 and sunny. And Iqaluit, -17 and sunshine. An Indigenous-owned investment fund has ponied up $25 million to help entrepreneurs who want to grow their business. APTN's Chris Stewart talked to one business owner about how some of that investment is helping her company thrive.
Bobby Reset knew that remote working was going to be big, so she started Virtual Gurus, which helps businesses by providing virtual assistants who work from home. Not that long ago, in 2016, that idea was hard to grasp by investors. Reset says she was rejected by 170 different investors until she met with the Raven Indigenous Capital Partners.
I really kind of struggled with that, where I knew that I was onto something. I knew that we had something that could massively scale. I just needed the people to believe in me and understand it. And so when Raven came into the picture, of course they did their due diligence and we got to know each other on many levels. They came out to Calgary to see me and, we built that relationship.
Paula Sert is the managing partner for the Raven Indigenous Capital Partners. The group is Indigenous-owned and provide funding for Indigenous-owned businesses across Canada who are looking to scale up their business.
What we're really looking for is those inspiring entrepreneurs who have a big head of steam and that are ready to go to scale, not just ready their business model, but themselves are ready to traverse the chasm between, sort of a small enterprise and what it looks like to transition to scale. And Virtual Gurus is a perfect example of that.
The Raven Indigenous Impact Capital Fund has partnered with over a dozen businesses from across the country, providing the capital from $250,000 to $2 million to expand. Raven also provides support and mentorship. This is Raven's second investment with Virtual Gurus. Bobby Reset says her business has really grown, even during COVID.
When other businesses are taking big hits, we were actually thriving from those hits in the sense because, all along I knew that remote work could be done. And a lot of people didn't really believe me. So, with Virtual Gurus, we were already scaling. I think when I met Paul and the group, we were close to about 100,000 monthly recurring revenue, or maybe about 70 or 80,000 monthly recurring revenue. And now we have almost tripled that.
And Virtual Gurus are hiring. Chris Stewart, APTN National News, Edmonton.
The entrepreneurial spirit of our people never ceases to amaze me. While Indigenous governments are allocating more resources to conserve what's left of the fragile caribou herds in Northwest Territories, APTN's Charlotte Moritz-Jacobs has been on the ground to see those efforts firsthand in the fight against irresponsible hunting. Here's a peek at what she's been working on.
I'm Charlotte Moritz-Jacobs, and I'll be taking you along the Winter Road, heading north from Yellowknife, all the way to the diamond mines.
We interview people how much caribou they get for their families.
We'll see how Indigenous groups are taking matters into their own hands to monitor caribou harvest.
They left all the guts and all that alongside the road. It's just disrespectful.
That's coming up soon on APTN National News.
Thousands of Indigenous artifacts found more than 5 years ago in northern Ontario will soon be on their way to a museum in that region. They were dug up by a New Liskeard archaeologist and will now be taken care of by the Timmins Museum. CTV's Lydia Schubach reports.
These ancient artifacts were found on the banks of the Matagami River at Yellow Falls, near Smooth Rock Falls. An archaeologist from New Liskeard oversaw the excavation from June to October in 2015 in preparation for a hydroelectric generating station. He says thousands of projectiles and other tools were excavated from June to October 2015, calling it a major archaeological deposit.
The waterfalls, from my conversations with First Nations people, seem to be imbued with a sacred or special significance. And so that could be another reason why it's not just a cursory, ephemeral type campsite. It's a very complex site that looks like it could have had yearly occupation for, like I said, around 7,000 years or so.
Primrose worked with two Indigenous groups from the area, Matagami First Nation and Takwa-Tagamu First Nation. He says they decided to ask the Timmins Museum to curate the artifacts.
So I really look forward to perhaps later in 2021, perhaps this might be available to the public, and it would be a great addition to the museum and great for all First Nations people as well as, everybody else.
Timmins Museum curator Karen Bachman is excited the museum has been asked to hold on to the collection, keeping it safe for the Indigenous groups who own the artifacts.
So it's definitely a partnership between all of our organizations. And moving forward, it's not one person over another. It's not a curator who's going to tell somebody how this is done, but very much all three of us working together.
The artifacts are not expected to arrive at the museum until June or July. The plan is to hold a special ceremony when there are fewer health protective measures in place. Lydia Schubach, CTV News, Timmins.
APTN Investigates has been looking into decolonizing museums. You can find that coverage on our website, aptnnews.ca. Well, a reporter in Russia was upstaged by an unlikely thief.
Будут показывать на этой неделе до 8 плюс 9 градусов. Стоять! Иди сюда! Эй, стой! Стой! Стоять! Ну, судя по всему, связь.
A golden retriever jumped in her shot and made off with her mic during a live weather report. And the anchor stayed cool and moved on with the news, totally unfazed. The reporter later chased down the dog, whose name is Martin, and did an interview with him. What did I just even watch? Well, okay, we've had kids interrupt news, but I don't think we've had a dog, I don't think. That's all the time we have for your news to kick off the week. March sure flew by. I'm Melissa Ridgen. Thanks for joining us. We will see you back here tomorrow. Have a great night.